Don't cry because it's over. Cry because it happened. This is Locked On Baylor.
You are Locked On Baylor, your daily podcast on the Baylor Bears, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's Monday. Drake Toll alongside Cameron Stewart. Both of us have worked for Sports Illustrated's Inside the Bears at points in our lives. Welcome to Locked On Baylor. Thank you for making it your first listen every single day. I want to apologize for being overly negative going into the Creighton game and being pretty definitive that Baylor would lose to Creighton. I didn't think it would be like this. We'll get into the conversation the rest of the week over whether or not this Baylor season was a success. But Cam, the game last night against the Blue Jays was just never really that close.
Yeah. I think they got it to 5 at one point in the second half. And it almost didn't feel like 5. Like you weren't like, yes, like it's just a matter of time.
Right.
Yeah. It was kind of like the Marquette game without as much a lopsided score, in that it was like Baylor led like the first media timeout, but it was tight. And then they just didn't lead again. And it didn't really feel like, felt like it was there for the taking, but didn't really feel like, okay, Baylor's in a really good spot now. Never had that feeling.
You know, Fank tweeted it out that, Baylor lost to a better team last night. And to in the same vein to me, it's like saying when Baylor lost to Marquette, they lost the better team, or had they lost to a UConn. Creighton was seeded at 6, but their body of work could have put them in a 7 or an 8 seed. Like they weren't overseeded. They were 2 and 9, I think, against quad 1 teams. They were super inconsistent, but they went out and said, "Oh, Baylor has the 102nd best defense in America. Well, we'll take that and we'll shoot 46% from 3. And Baylor said, "Hey, if you guys want to shoot any 3-pointers, just go ahead and do it. Just get out of the way. Go ahead and shoot them, see what happens." And just buried. Like Baylor got absolutely buried because Creighton didn't miss.
Yeah, those first couple possessions, they went to the big fella there, the big fella
Kalkbrenner
made of paper airplanes. The way he goes down,
he was weak and soft and small.
He sucked. I hate that. Anyway, he got like 2 of the first 3 baskets. My dad texted me and was like, this is what I feared, big man just exposing the big guys defensively. And I recalled a conversation I had with Matty Ice, Matty Ice BU, to which he said a few days before, he was like, we actually, like, our big men aren't good, but we're not getting beat by big guys getting buckets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when's the last time that happened? When we lose this year, it's because we can't guard guards, and guards go wherever they want. And so that's what I was thinking. I was like, we're doing fine. That's going to come if we just stop leaving shooters open. And that happened the whole night, bro. The whole night. That once that got to pick up that second option, that second screen, Bears are just have not kept up with it all year. And that's what happened.
If there is a recipe for Baylor to win that game, this is kind of the recipe. Let's turn it into a shootout. You guys shoot a bunch of threes. We'll shoot a bunch of threes. Mm-hmm. Baylor is the analytically much better offensive team. They should come out firing and have an advantage. And instead, Baylor shoots 23% from deep. LJ Cryer has almost half the team's points in this game, which was a huge development, 30 points in total for him. But nobody else seemed to want to hit 3. Flagler's banged up. Apparently, Keyonte George has mono, and by the way, is shooting like 22% since he got hurt against Texas, and again had a pretty bad game. Scotty B, the Baylor King, put it perfectly in his game recap yesterday. Obviously, mono did not help Keyonte George, but shot selection didn't either, which I thought was a great own from Scotty B, the Baylor.
That's true.
The Baylor King, and a very good point. You can pin. There were some bad calls. The officiating, that little short, small, tiny man with the white hair was bad. He was not good.
It was a poorly officiated game, I would say.
But
not
Baylor,
the difference, but bad.
Once you get 3 offensive foul calls on moving screens, You adjust. You do something different. And Baylor just kept doing it, including the cheap one against Ocean Wounded there at the end that could have made a slight difference. Would have put it within 6 with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah.
But instead, the Bears lose by 9, and Creighton moves to the Sweet 16, and Baylor's season is over. We haven't even gotten to FloThump yet, which we will. God rest his soul. He's not dead. He just never will play a game again for Baylor basketball. Oh. Played a lot of games, man.
He's played a lot of games.
He didn't really play
a lot of
last
records,
night.
Man.
Yes, a lot of records. FloThump's name is there. There were times where I told my roommates, I watched with about 15 people. I said, every time Baylor's on offense, just watch FloThump. Don't watch anything else. Just watch FloThump. And he would run out to the top of the key, and he wouldn't screen. He would just kind of stand there with his arms out, and then he would turn around. All he does is just turn around, and that was it.
I also like that he's never I don't know if it's like him mad at refs, mad at himself, or mad at coming out of the game, but he's never like okay with the coach's decision to bring him out of the game.
Yeah.
You know, every time he's on the bench, he's like not even just like what can I do? Like angry.
It's my time, man.
Yeah.
I was about to break out.
Like a starting pitcher who's like, that's my guy. You can't take me out now. Like that's what it always makes me think of when he's coming off the court. I'm like, can you just once be like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
like
got
that's
to
on
regroup
me.
here. All right,
That's on me, Coach.
Yeah,
I had
I have 4 fouls. I understand that.
I won't say who, but I had a former player's parent that messaged me. It's like, I can't do it anymore. It's like, whoa, what? I cannot do it with him anymore. And I was like, all right, well, it's good to know.
There is a vocal majority that I hear like literally word of mouth day in, day out about the FloThump subject than what you see online.
Florence Thamba. Whoever started that Twitter account, legendary.
There has been a discourse.
I don't know. Josh Ojewuda was getting more minutes too, but Flo still started.
And Josh was better defensively in this stretch here. This 3 games that he's seen some more time again. Because that's why he wasn't playing in the middle of the season. People were just like, put Josh in. That's easy fix. So it's like, well, he's worse defensively than Flo. So you're just going to get more angry and our problems aren't going to be solved. But he played better minutes.
Caleb Lohner had a really good round 1. Round 2, he was Caleb Lohner. He tried hard, man.
Caleb Lohner. I was going to say, you got the effort.
It's what I like about it. Yeah, I don't know if it was you or Brandon McKenna who said he's a golden retriever. And do you ever take the rope and throw it up to your golden retriever and he goes to catch in the air and it just completely misses it, like hits his teeth and then lands in the mud.
If I had described to you the game he played last night and been like, okay, 3 weeks ago, been like, Drake, if Caleb Lohner gives you this game in the tournament, you feeling good? And you're like, yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
You'd be feeling good. But he just plays out of his mind on Friday.
Yeah.
Like anything we've ever seen from him. No, we've never even seen anything close to that. If Jalen Bridges does that, it's impressive, but you've seen it. You know he's capable of it. No one knew.
Add to the storylines, too. I have questions for obvious reasons myself. Langston Love plays 3 minutes against UCSB, comes in, goggles on, comes out, never see him again. Never see him again. Nobody asks. Nobody mentions it. Nobody talks about it. Goggles are off. Never comes back in. He would have been good to have when no one else could score.
We'll hear matchups. I'm sure there's truth to it, but people were saying that about Dale Bonner all season. I was like, Dale Bonner didn't play for like 4 weeks. So
he could see
fine. Not a matchup thing. Like there's something bigger here. I don't know that it's hugely detrimental, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe they didn't like the things he was seeing on Friday. I don't know.
Now maybe he didn't like the things he was seeing. You can't see. Speaking of not being able to see, I would hate to not be able to see myself in the mirror when I watch myself eat Built Bar. Built Bar is the best bar that there is. If there's one saving grace to March Madness, if there's one saving grace to Baylor losing to Creighton in the round of 32, not going to the Sweet 16, not moving on, busting up most of my brackets, the only saving grace to all of this terrible stuff, Built Bar, the March Madness bracket that they're doing, because my favorite Built Bar is the coconut almond. And right now you can go vote for that. Vote for it at the builtmarchmadness.com, builtmarchmadness.com bracket. So right now, if you vote, 50 lucky listeners will get a free box of Built. A free box. One listener will get a 12-month subscription to Built. It's a year free of Built bars or puffs delivered to you monthly. You got to try Built. Built is the best protein bar ever. Seriously, there's like no calories and a bunch of not sugar and protein and all kinds of jazz. BuiltMarchMadness.com right now. Vote for your favorite Built bar puff or bar or puff, not puff bar, at Built.com. The defense. Do you think so? Let me give you some specs here.
Yeah.
Baylor only gets out rebounded by 5. That's not bad against a Creighton team that their guards rebound really well. Baylor Shireman's their best rebounder. Baylor shoots 46%, forces 14 turnovers. Like I truly believe that the Bears,
they almost forced Creighton to their season average in the first half.
Yeah.
They turned it over 10 times.
And we're still down by 10 at halftime.
Yeah.
I don't
like a lot of missed opportunities.
This wasn't Baylor just completely crapped the bed and played as poorly as they ever could have played, aside from one aspect, and that was 5 for 22 from deep. The thing you do best. We said it all year. Scott Drew said this team's going to live and die by the 3. They literally, their season ended. They died, blood everywhere, by the 3-pointer.
Yeah. And we've seen them a couple of times this year, few and far between, a couple of times where they've become like a 2-point shooting team that wins on being efficient alone. I think of like the UT game, that Kansas game, that second half. They weren't lighting it up from 3, but it's a tough thing to do, man. And you said it, we heard it from press conference 1, that this was going to be a high volume 3-point shooting team, different than we even seen in the past couple of years when they've had some of the best 3-point shooting in the country. So yeah, it sucked. And that's ultimately what it came down to. If they hit their average, that's a totally, totally different game.
We'll talk about this over the course of the week.
What was the final margin? 9? 7?
What?
9.
Creighton made 11 3-pointers. Baylor made
5.
9-point
game.
9-point game. Creighton also went 22 for 22 at the line.
Ugh.
That's insane. That's insane.
That is so Des Moines.
Baylor had
Omaha.
I
always get them mixed up with Drake. That's so Omaha, though. Still,
Baylor had 5 assists, 5 steals, 5 assists.
Parker Thune's team. That's right. Omaha.
5 assists.
Yeah.
Not good. The offense was, again, I didn't feel like the threes were terrible looks. A bunch of the moving screens were awful. Like I just don't know how those happen.
What is going on?
It's like we're in the March Madness. We're in the NCAA tournament. How are we doing this?
How are you guys landing these gigs?
I'm telling you, that guy. Baylor's now 2-6 with that one specific official on the floor.
Ridiculous, man.
2-6. Like we can't be having that in March Madness.
Didn't we have something like that last year? Am I making that up? In the Carolina game, it was something similar, where it's like Scott.
Yeah.
Ref.
But the weird part was that they were terrible, and Baylor got down 25, and then they chunked. What was his name? Big hairy guy.
Brady Manick.
Yeah. They chunked Brady Manick out of the game, and then it flipped, and the officials were like,
awful
they did that
for
UNC. That was one of the worst.
That was a bad game.
Terrible. On both sides, terrible. This one, I didn't like. I want to say bad. It was bad. The calls were not good, but they were consistent. They kept calling the same thing.
Yeah,
Baylor kept doing it. They're like, all right, well, if you're going to call it, we're still going to do it. And they
kept not calling contact in the lane. Like you needed some serious contact.
Yeah. Anytime Creighton wanted to flop, it was like, all right, well, give them a foul, I guess. They were a whiny little team. They were not. I didn't think
I was going to be as frustrated with this Creighton team.
Yeah. I was like, all right, fundamental guys. They play basketball the right way. And they didn't. They were little whiny pansies.
And their coach has a shoddy history as well. So I imagine that's from the top down.
I wonder if we got any kids that played hoops.
I don't think so.
No. Not even like when Baylor played them in 14?
Nah.
Yeah.
It would have been good, though, I bet. Probably would have made the difference. Probably would have won them the game.
Yeah, they did lose by 30. To preface how the rest of this week's going to go, we're going to have conversations about Keyonte George and Kendall Brown. I tweeted out a comparison. Well, it's obviously not a direct comparison at all. But it opens into a bigger conversation of one and dones at Baylor. Scott Drew has now embraced the culture of one and dones, and Scott Drew has now been bounced in the first weekend 2 years in a row, following a national championship, with one and dones kind of at the helm of these recruiting classes and helms of the team. And then also talking about overall, was this season a success? And we'll get into that over the course of the week. But that's the one thing I want to land on before we go into Scott Drew's press conference. The one and done culture here. Like it's never been Baylor. That's never been the fit for Scott Drew's teams. The national title team in 21, all 5 starters were 3-year guys at least. And now it's all right, let's go get the top, let's go have a top 5 class in America and try to win with one and done guys. The teams that win national championships aren't doing it that way.
Yeah. So therefore, I think it's something Baylor needs to adapt to rather than completely give up. It's just the trajectory of the program.
You think this is going to be a one and done school here in 5 years?
I mean, no, it's never going to be Duke or Calipari's teams. It's not going to be that. But they'll have as many one and dones as Kansas has one every year, right?
Who was theirs last year?
Texas has one every year. But you know what I mean? Like on the whole, these guys, they don't have 5 of them, but they have 1 or 2 of them every year. And clearly that's the trajectory that we're headed in, that we've been on the last couple of years. So anyway, I just think it's something they need to get better at rather than ditch, but we'll see. Duke has gotten back to 1 Final Four since they won it all with that first true big one and done team. Kentucky hasn't won in 10 years. Yeah. So clearly that is not the best formula to go by, but you'd also think that the way Scott Drew gets transfers, that he's going to be just this darling of the portal.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We're going to hear from Scott Drew in his press conference post-game after losing.
Well, I should say, I think that's the way the trajectory is going to continue to go. He's not going to become a worse recruiter by any means, but since winning a national championship, that's back-to-back tournaments. Not even out of the first weekend, back-to-back.
Yeah.
3 out of 4 tournaments. So that's not even I'm just saying a mark on the program on social media. We laugh at Purdue, and that is definitely way worse. We laugh at Virginia. That's still worse because you got upset bigger. But we're in the same trajectory right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
The
worst Baylor athletics year. That's how spoiled we are.
Oh, this is far and away the worst Baylor athletics year that I've been in college, at least. Easily.
My time, because you got to think the Lady Bears always had great teams.
Yeah, it's easily been the worst.
So they would save our ass sometimes.
Easily.
But for the most part, you've had good football or good basketball.
This has been one of the worst Baylor athletics years in the last 10 years, for sure. It's been in the bottom half, without a doubt. Probably bottom 3 in the last decade or so. So that is a weird thought.
To have none of your major 4 make the quarterfinals, yeah.
And we'll have a long off season to talk about that. Baseball's good again. Wherever that came from.
First Big 12 team to win a conference series.
Wow. I mean, whoa.
First ones. First ones.
Women's basketball plays today against UConn at UConn. So we'll see how that goes.
Glorious Campbell. Hey, fantastic on Saturday, though. That was actually a really awesome game to watch.
Really good to win.
Actually, a really awesome game.
Tweeted that thing. I was like, no way they're going to win this one. An hour and a half after the game, and the entire world burned down.
I like when
I can't.
I like when they get it's a joke, but they tell you that comedy isn't your strong suit.
Right. I don't know what's
I enjoy those ones because there's one of those every time.
Like Baylor was down to UC Santa Barbara and came back and won, down at half. So I say Baylor has never come back from a halftime deficit.
But it happens every
NCAA
time you do
tournament
one
game.
of those. Someone says,
And
like,
of course, the first
I
comment
guess
is like,
this is a joke, but this is so dumb. You're so
the first
unfunny.
comment, I hope this is satire. Next comment, it literally happened last game. Do you think, how little do you people think of me?
Clown emoji.
How little? The clown emojis are good. That Dale Bonner fan guy too. I don't know what's happened in the last week.
He's in one that's on all of them.
Absolutely. I don't know what I did to anger God and man, but I pressed that button. I pressed it hard. And I am wallowing away. I had a 7-hour car drive, and I just sat and looked at myself in the rearview mirror and thought, is this my life? Responding to nameless, faceless people.
He's letting it loose.
Like, what is going on right now? Like, me tweets, Baylor has literally never done this. As an obviously, it is to show that Baylor has just done this. Don't freak out. Let's freak out for other reasons.
Kind of doubting the Lord here.
Like, what?
What is this creation he has made?
I like stepped on a crack or some kind of
questioning
seance.
Everything that's happened to him at this point.
Somebody
It's
brought
like,
a Ouija board out a couple weeks ago.
To be? This hard work, all the sleep I've missed the last 4 years, is this what it's gotten me?
A demon. Can you curse one person? And the demon said, yes. Who art thou? That little Ouija board thing, just DR, and then it finished it all out. Here I am. Be gone. You know any good
national championship while you're there, but Arkansas makes more Elite Eights.
Yeah. You know any good Catholic priests? Any good any good exorcists out there? I've got some stuff I got to deal with. Speaking of stuff to deal with,
this is like my grandmother, dude. My grandfather died last year, and since then, my grandmother is now telling us how much she loathed her mother-in-law.
Oh.
Like the mother-in-law has been dead for years, but she would just never reveal this to anyone while my grandfather was alive. And so now she's just letting this loose. She just hated her mother-in-law, and the mother-in-law was so mean to her. And it's just like 60 years of pent up just coming out right now. This is what it's reminding me of.
I'm gonna have tomorrow's show is gonna be entitled "Drake Addresses Twitter," and that's it. That's the whole title.
You've got to him. There's gonna be so many people happy with this.
I'm gonna spend a half hour just your clown emoji. You know what? Not me. Your clown emoji.
We did it. We got it.
Scott Drew. Yeah, all the TCU stuff never fazed me, but this is my downfall. My comedy career being worse than some other people in the district. Next up, Scott Drew. Scott,
thanks.
What do you got to say, Scott? Please take it away.
First, we want to congratulate Creighton on a game well played. Second of all, I want to thank the city of Denver. I thought the hospitality was tremendous at the facility, the hotels, restaurants. It was a great experience for our team. Third, nobody likes losing, but our coaching staff is really proud of this group, the way they carry themselves, the men that they are, the way they represent our university. We couldn't be more proud of them and love working with them every day. So life is short. When you get a chance to spend time with guys you really enjoy, it makes it really rewarding. So disappointed we couldn't keep playing, but proud of them.
Take questions down here in the front row on the left.
John Warner, Waco Tribune Hero. This is for Adam. Obviously, their center scored a lot of points the last game. Was the plan to maybe try to stop him? But I guess at the same time, you might have had to give up a little outside.
Yeah, we wanted to collectively do a good job making it hard for him. Credit to Flo, John, and Josh for what they did. But credit to Creighton for their ability to make shots, and we weren't able to get enough stops to pull out the game. So.
Go on the right side, fourth row back in the aisle.
Kendall Catsicum, 365. Scott, when you think back to coaching Flo and Adam over these last 5 and 4 years, what's that meant to you, and what moments kind of stick out right now?
Oh, great individuals, represented the university tremendously. Great memories, and blessed to be able to work with them. And they've done a lot for our program, raised the standards, and always carried themselves in the utmost professional manner.
We'll go in the front row on the right.
Adam, to kind of Pat Graham, Associated Press, to kind of piggyback off that question right there, what do you hope your legacy is going forward? What do you want people to remember about this team in 2021 and what you guys accomplished?
Just that we're a resilient team. You know, there were moments throughout the season where things weren't going our way, but as a group, we collectively just wanted to continue to fight for one another. And, you know, credit to God at the end of the day for allowing us to even be in this March Madness and be able to play. So I'm just thankful for these guys. I would go to war with them any day of the week.
We'll stay in the front row here on the left side.
This is for LJ. You guys got quite a bit behind, made a good rally in the second half. Did you feel like you were in a pretty good groove and that individually and that the guys are kind of feeding you there, kind of finding the hot hand?
I mean, yeah, but I feel like, I don't know, we ain't get the win, so that's kind of irrelevant to me. No disrespect, but yeah.
Okay, we'll go on the right side, row 3 on the aisle.
Brendan Plone, the Denver Post. You know, Coach McDermott was saying how much of a, I guess, defensive effort it was to really, you know, shut you guys from beyond the arc. I guess what did you make of the looks you had tonight, and you know, what maybe Creighton did to clog some of the shots tonight?
I mean, they're physical. They grabbed. I mean, yeah, they were real physical, made it hard for us to get open, and they fanned out whenever you get to the paint. So I don't know, they just tried to make it. They tried to run us off the line too, make us shoot more twos. Yeah, so I mean, that seemed like that was their game plan, and they executed.
Left side, 4th row in the middle.
Michael Higg, Baylor. LJ, this one's for you, just kind of off of on the note of Adam. What have they meant, you know, for this program over the years, and what's it like playing with them?
I mean, having them has been amazing for me and my growth as a person and as a player. The guy next to me is like a role model to me. He carries himself very well, so I'm blessed to have somebody like this in my corner.
We'll go on the right side on the aisle.
Scott, Creighton goes 22 of 22 from the line, started I think 5 of 6 from 3. Were there shades of this game that almost felt like the opposite of that 2014 game where one team just was too hot and it wasn't even like a X's and O's or how y'all were playing kind of game?
Normally the second game, you have tired legs, and 11 for 24 definitely didn't show that. So credit them for making shots. 22 for 22 from the free throw lines, outstanding, and especially in the second game and to go to a Sweet 16. And defensively, I mean, they're number 1 defense in the Big East, so they got a good defense. Starts with their shot blocker. And they got length on the perimeter and did a good job making it tough for us. But I mean, take the free throw line for instance. I mean, no one's guarding us there, and for them to go 22 for 22, it's felt kind of like their night tonight. Farabello, I know, been struggling from the field, gave him a big lift, and you got to credit them. They're a real good team, and that's why they were ranked 7th in the nation at one point. And it wasn't like we lost because we lost. They beat us today.
Go left side on the front row.
Scott, obviously after the game Kalkbrenner had the first 2 days ago, was a plan to try to stop him, and did you feel like you maybe had to give up something outside because of that?
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's averaging 21 in the last 5, and it's pick your poison when you got a good inside-outside, and credit them for doing a good job. I agree with LJ and Adam. Our bigs did a great job, but we had a lot of help, and which led to some opportunities for them from 3. And we kept changing what we did, and they're a really good offensive team. They did a good job adjusting as well.
Go back on the left side here, 4th row in the middle.
Yeah, Adam, you know, Ryan went for 30 today. I mean, just talk about the challenges of guarding him. I know it wasn't just you, but just collectively to try to stop him. Seemed like he kind of had the hot hand today.
Yeah, you know, he did a great job of just, you know, controlling his team at the end of the day, finding guys and knocking out shots. So credit to him. We knew coming in that, you know, he was going to be their floor general and leader, and we want to do everything we can to make it tough for him. But, you know, he just had a really good game today. So
we'll go to the right side on the aisle.
And Scott, with Keyonte probably headed to the NBA draft, what's it been like this last year to have coached him and have him be part of the program at Baylor?
I think he's really grown. I mean, when you come in as a freshman, you grow a lot off the court as well as on the court, and having LJ, Adam, and great big brothers for him has really helped him. And Key's a fun teammate. The guys all really like him, and he wanted to learn from them. And really credit his growth all around, on and off the court, because of the teammates he had and his willingness to grow.
Go down here in the front row.
Yeah, Scott, what are some of the major things you're going to remember about this team?
It's really a good group of guys. They like one another. They're good role models. They're great for the university and community. And it was always a joy going to practice each and every day, because when you like who you're with, it makes it fun and easy. A lot of times this time of year, coaches can't wait to get away. Players can't wait to get away. And this group was a special group, and they deserve a lot of credit for the individuals they all are.
Any further? We got another question back here.
Yeah, Scott, I was just curious, was it like a discomfort thing with Langston? Was that why he was kind of unable to get some run?
Yeah, he couldn't go today, so.
That was Scott Drew. Pretty sad after all that stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Sucks, man. Sucks. There's 16 teams left in this tournament. Kansas State and Jerome Tang being one of them. And the Baylor Bears are
beat you twice and went farther than you.
Put that in your coffee pot and drink it.
Happy for him, but it hurts. It hurts.
All right. This has been Locked On Baylor. Thanks for making your first listen every single day. There's deodorant on the floor. Come back tomorrow. We're going to talk about basketball. I think McKinnon's going to show tomorrow. I haven't asked him yet. We'll see how. That has been all it will be. Locked On Baylor.